this is paper M108, that is information storage and retrieval systems. We'll go directly to the syllabus. In paper M108, we have 5 units, as you are aware. The first unit is about the fundamental concepts. What are the information storage and retrieval systems? Its associated concepts or different characteristics, objectives, types of information storage and retrieval systems, um, different operations or how information storage and retrieval system works. Then information retrieval process, how we retrieve the information in physical library setup as well as in digital setup, digital systems. We also have in our syllabus vocabulary control tools and devices, for instance, classification schedules, subject heading list, thesaurus, its needs, structure and construction of thesaurus, and then along with that, we have other than thesaurus and subject headings, we have associated concepts like ontologies as introduction. Then also we have to discuss about the principles and evolution of different bibliographic description tools and systems. Then our second unit is knowledge management, in which basically we are concerned to discuss about different indexing systems, and particularly this knowledge management is discussed in terms of a corporate information system or corporate information management system. Then in our syllabus we have unit 3, which is about bibliographic description, where we are going to understand or study about different rules of bibliographic description, uh, standards of bibliographic description, bibliographic record formats, then metadata concept, then it's a definition, it's a need, and how metadata and bibliographic description is useful in terms of when we talk about information retrieval. Then we have metadata standards, some of the metadata standards, including Dublin Core, MARC, and some more like VRA Core or or premise and other things, which are domain-specific metadata schema. Then in unit 4, we have search techniques and information retrieval, where we discuss about the man and machine retrieval systems, how they differ, what are their characteristics and all. In addition to that, we have other systems and strategies, like for instance, Boolean operations, proximity search, heuristic search, other kind of search which we perform over internet and over the web. Then in the end, we have final topic, that is data mining, data harvesting, and semantic web technology, and knowledge management retrieval. So these are the things which we are going to revise. These concepts are already covered and discussed in our PCP class. Here we will be more concerned about revising it or knowing it, that how these terms or how these concepts were discussed in the class. We will discuss that, and as well as we will be also covering probably nothing new, but whatever was already there. So now I will share the actual PPT for this particular class. SEM 108. So the first part or first component was about information storage and retrieval systems. So information, the classic example of information storage or retrieval system, if I say, we can take the example of either bibliographic databases or even the OPAC, which we take as very common example when we talk about searching or retrieving the information in modern setup of library or automated library systems. We had catalog cards or catalog records previously, which also we were using as information as a mean to manage the retrieve the information. So just I'm just sharing my screen. System is little slow. Okay. So we will start probably by indexing and indexing techniques, because that was the component which uh, we covered in uh, detail. Let me once again share my screen. Okay, just share my screen. Index and indexing. Wait. Hanji, I have to sign. Thank you. Yeah, so index and indexing, we start with that. Index and indexing is like we have in libraries and information science, the major works, if we classify or if we group library activities or library works. So these are the major functions of libraries: information acquisition, information organization and management, information dissemination, and information preservation. Just please mute your system.
वो कर दीजिए और बच्चे बोल रहे थे थोड़ा सा मेनू में थोड़ा चेंजेस कर दें।
Yeah, just okay. So I was talking about various library and information science functions: information acquisition, information organization and management, information dissemination or retrieval in other sense, if we say, and then information preservation. So in this, if we go, all these activities are interrelated. Information or acquisition is something where we collect the information from various sources, and once the information is acquired, it is put in a certain library or information centers, or if it is in digital format, it will be kept in cloud, or using server, it will be stored somewhere. Major thing afterwards, what we do is organize it. For organizing, we have we can say bread and butter kind of tool, which is classification and cataloging, which we use for information organization and information that leads to information retrieval or information dissemination. So this information, proper information organization, other than these classification and cataloging, we had an extension that was previously it was called library indexes or subject indexes. Later on, we in the era of search engines, or in the era of we can say uh, you can say web, we we are using it as in indexing is one of the core activities which we perform in search engines and other search places. Once this and finally the another activity which is not very nowadays people talk less about it, that is information preservation. That was also the major activity which we um, used to perform. So indexing is something which comes in two major activities in library and information centers. It's a tool for information, tool of information organization, and also it is used for information dissemination or information retrieval. And that is where it actually comes as a part of this particular paper, that we are saying information storage and retrieval. So the so before going to the indexing languages and other aspects, I just would like to briefly introduce about the indexes. So as discussed in the classes also, that index or indexing activity is something where you indicate, or when someone points out to certain aspects. So therefore an index is something which we say as a systematic guide about the items contained in or concepts received from the collection. So I don't know, I have a book here which I want to show you, uh, probably if it has back of the book index. So earlier uh, we had the history of indexing or indexes are quite old, and you can say the before computers, first generation of computer itself, the index and indexing system came into the picture. So if you see, this is a book, and it's quite a huge book of more than 650 pages. So suppose you want to identify or get some concepts out of it. Earlier, the scholars or people, they identified that, um, suppose I want to refer to a certain concept or a certain item in this particular book or in this particular resource, how will I be able to find out? Like for instance, this is a huge book about digital library, but I want to know something about maybe I want to get to know about the problems in a library or digitization aspect, uh, or maybe dialogue management is one concept. So what right now in present era, what we do is, if we have a PDF document or any digital format documents, what we can do is we can just simply search using Control F option in our computer systems, but that you can't do to the physical systems or physical resources. So uh, actually the index, back of the book index, is the classic example of what we are doing currently right now, the Control F for finding the concepts or terms. So here you see, this is a concept called, something called dialogue management. I hope it is visible to you on the screen. So dialogue management, if suppose someone comes to the library and wants to know about the dialogue management, and this dialogue management, here you can see the term is given here, and its page number is given 434. So that is what is the definition here. The index is a systematic guide to information contained in and concepts derived from a collection. So here, if we go to the 434 page, probably it will be somewhere. Dialogue management will be there somewhere. So 434 page number, the dialogue management is there. See, now if you want to study or read, or if you want to know about the concept, you can simply use this tool, that is index. So index was something which was one of the you can say revolutionary revolutionary approach, or things which were which evolved before computers for the search and retrieval purpose. So this is how you can trace back to the history of our paper also, information retrieval. So information contained in certain book or certain information system, and from there, if you want to retrieve, certain mechanisms are required. Okay, so information retrieval means, information retrieval is something, uh, you you have information at certain place and you want to get some information from the place where the information is stored. So that this mechanism is called information retrieval. You want to get that particular information on your demand. So that is called information retrieval. And the systems. So there are various systems, or you can say there are various means from where the actually information can be retrieved, or information can be um, information is stored, or information is organized from there. When you go for so that particular system where all those information is organized or kept or stored, that is called as information system. And the example which I told previously also, the major examples of information system include um, you have rather in information there is a bibliographic databases are the information systems, and from there you have the option to search from their collection. Same is the case if the library is the information system, you use catalogs or you use normal opaque for searching purposes, so that is also information system. Search engines are used for searching in the Google or any kind of search engines. You have browsers which you use for searching. So search engines also becomes information system. Those are also information system. They go to the web and find out the information for you. So information retrieval and information system, those how do they work, how in backend, how effectively they are able to fetch or get the information for you. In the previous generation or previous era, we had catalogs where different bibliographic information was kept or described. So that from there we used to just search and get, if we know the keyword, we used to search from that, or if we know the title or author, or there are so many choice of access point, from there we used to access the resources. Later on, in the era of digital setup, or in the automated library era, we got OPACs. From there we search. In between this, I was talking about I gave the example of index with back of the book index. So back of the book index, how this index took place was, um, considering that huge amount or huge number of resources are available or there in certain information system, how to get that out, or how to effectively ensure that the resources, or the resources can be accessed by the patrons or users. So that is where came the concept of index, and it is decided or defined as a systematic guide to items contained in, or concepts derived from it, from the collection. So basically, why we require it? Because a lot of multifaceted documents have come, a lot of you can say uh, uh, information or documents have increased like anything. It's every day lot of resources, or you can say papers or books are being published. So in that case, we have to find out certain mechanism to get the information on demand or on need. So that is where index became inevitable. So the primary aim of indexes is to get quick access to the relevant documents, and it should be able to retrieve from collection as many as document as are relevant to the query. And then the retrieved document should be able to provide precise answer to the query, and the reuse of information contained by the user. So these are the basic objectives which are required for which are there associated with index. Uh, Indexes are having multiple stakeholders, or the producers of the documents or consumers of the document, in terms of student, teachers, researchers. Producers include the authors or publishers, and then organizers of information, which are library professionals. So the major characteristics of indexes are, it is a guide to items or concepts in documents. The items in index are generally arranged in alphabetical order, and there are references to show that there these items are uh, located to the. So if you go by the characteristics or the qualities of index, it is it should be guiding to the items or resources or the concepts available in the particular information system or in information bundle. Then information the item in this index are generally arranged in alphabetical order. It can be any other order also, but in general it is put alphabetically. And there will be references, like for example here I gave the reference like dialogue. The term was something called here in this case we choose um, as I show you here something related to dialogue management. And this dialogue management uh, was on page number 434. So that is the reference, that is the actual reference of that particular concept. There are some norms or some established norms which index should have. It must be exhaustive. It should be able to satisfy the possible approaches. So that means if a choice of access point is more than one, so then also the index should be able to solve, index should be able to get you the results. Coming back to the its evolution, rather yeah. So I will briefly touch upon these things. These are already discussed um, in the classes. So CA Cutter's contribution is considered as quite remarkable in this regard, where the rules of in his book Rules of Dictionary Catalog, which was published in 1876, the cataloging term he used for indexing purposes, and then these two terms were quite often interchangeably used. Then Uh, another person who actually afterwards, after Cutter's contribution, only actual subject cataloging or subject indexing got evolved, and many people they introduced their concepts associated with the indexing or information retrieval. So subject headings, ALA published subject heading from considering the suggestion of a Cutter only, and then first subject heading came into the picture in 1898. After Cutter, the next person who take care, who actually worked in this direction was J. Kasser, who created his own systematic indexing, which has two major parts, concretes and processes. Uh, then afterwards, S.R. Ranganathan contributed towards the indexing system that we say as chain procedure or chain indexing. After Ranganathan in 1950s, J.L.E. Faraday, he actually devised another indexing system um, that we say as a relational indexing system. And finally, other indexing systems derived afterwards, which our EJ Coates contribution was also there, which additionally we say as subject indexing, and then afterwards um, uh, preserved context indexing system, that is PRECI, came into the picture, and which was developed by Derek Astin. In today's class itself, we will discuss about PRECI also in little detail. Then came postulate-based permuted subject indexing system, that was POPSI, which was developed by Ganesh Bhattacharya, another indexing system. Computers, again, they started doing the developing the indexes. And in this regard, HP Loon has got the credit to evolve the machine accessible or machine usable keyword based title indexes, which we say keyword based title indexes. And in further in 63s and 1960s, using Garfield, he gave another technique which we say as citation indexes. Also, indexing system are still being evolving, and in the era of AI and a lot of NLP based techniques are being used. Expert systems are derived using AI techniques and a lot of knowledge representation models and semantic techniques, semantically representative, semantically representing models are also coming to the uh, picture nowadays. The major difference between cataloging and indexing, if we say, is that the cataloging is something which is at a little larger scale, and whereas indexing involves about the micro documents or in a smaller scale, or you want to, if you want to um, for broad search we use catalogs, whereas for very narrow search we have to use the indexing system or indexes. So um, to develop it, um, we have to do three things. If you want to develop any index, first of all, one has to familiarize it. That is, familiarization is the first stage. Then the concept has to be analyzed, and finally it has to be translated in some appropriate or artificial language. So familiarization is something where indexer has to know about the domain or has to know about the document or resource. Then comes the analysis where the actual concepts will be analyzed, and so that the meaning and the context is not missing. And finally, it will be translated into a certain machine language. Then it can be machine language or it can be any other language. It can be translated. We say it as artificial language, which is someone. So for familiarization, one has to put attention on the title, abstract, and all the major components of the particular resource for which the index has to be made. For the analysis, one has to deeply understand and read the component or the resource and use certain logical approaches. And then finally, for the purpose of translation, one has to find out the appropriate indexing language based on which the translation has to be made. So according to S.R. Ranganathan, the first two steps, that those are the familiarization as well as analysis. That happens in idea plane, whereas the third one that happens in verbal plane. So there are certain problems associated with indexing. So the problems which I am saying uh, in terms of indexing, that you can read or understand as problems in information retrieval also, because the indexing leads to the further retrieval also. So the problems in indexing are in two levels, that is interpretation, which is intended by the author and constituted by the potential user. So what you are intending while making the index, and how it will be perceived or how it will be construed by the potential user, that is the actual challenge which we face always, not only in physical library setup but also in modern day digital library systems. Then also the choosing the accurate or appropriate terms to represent that meaning, which will enable this communication to be clear. So this for ensuring that whatever is being uh, uh, given is being received as it is. For that we have um, that is another challenge. So another challenge which is associated with the natural language. So if you want to translate the natural language things into machine language, there comes lot of problems, like for example problem of synonyms, homograph, word forms, numbers, gender, spelling and such. So for example, for same thing, there will be multiple words in natural language which our system, or which we ourselves we are able to process it properly. However, when it comes to the machine, or when it comes to any mechanical system, that time it will create issue. Like for example, um, for staying a certain place, it can be said as maybe house or home or abode or staying place. There are multiple synonyms for that. But when you are creating index, all terms should not be used because of practical reasons. If you start using like that, then it instead of index, it will be dictionary. So that is where one has to find out, or one had to tackle this issue. So these issues were somehow addressed using different kind of devices, like cross-referencing and all. So all those things we will discuss in detail in few minutes maybe. Indexing, again, this is something, what all are the qualities related or required for an indexer. Um, if you want to index, evaluate an indexing system, then one has to justify the level of performance, that how, or you can say evaluation, not only evaluation of indexing system or index, but information retrieval system also are evaluated based on these parameters itself. So the purpose of evaluating any indexing system or any information retrieval system are to identify the level of performance and compare it with respect to other system. For instance, if you want to compare the if you want to compare with uh, compare if you want to compare the indexing any information retrieval system like Google, if you want to compare with any other system, so performance will be one of the major criteria based on which you have to. Then comes to justify the existence of given information retrieval system. You can perform using cost benefit analysis. Then in addition to that, to identify its retrieval efficacy or retrieval efficiency, that is how easily one can approach or speed, what is the speed of the information system, and how accurately it is able to give the responses to the users. So these are the parameters. Suppose it is asked that how will you evaluate an information system or information retrieval system. So in that case, you can simply use these parameters, like you have to identify the level of performance, then cost benefit analysis, and then ease of approach, speed, accuracy, internal operating efficiency. So these are some of the methods. In addition to that, we have another measures that we call as recall and precision metrics, which we which we also use for evaluating any indexing or any information retrieval system. So here I want to make clear that many places when I am talking about, because indexing system is nothing but a information retrieval system. So when it is asked to you in the examination, you can use this in that context. It can be interchangeably used, that since indexing is also used for information retrieval only, so indexing system is also information retrieval system. So for the evaluation purpose, or for the other things which we discussed, characteristics and other things of indexing system is similar to what we have information retrieval system. So recall and precision are two major methods to or two major ways to to yeah, you can say tools to evaluate information system or information retrieval system or indexing system. So recall is the first one, where which refers to the index's ability or information system's ability to let relevant document through the filter And recall ratio is the ratio of relevant document retrieved to the total number of relevant document potentially available. So we will see with the example how recall and precision differs. So precision is something while retrieving relevant in item, systems retrieve some non-relevant item also. So these non-relevant item affect the success of system because they must be discarded by the users. So so in recall and precision, if you see um, when you just from here you this see this is the matrix based on which we will understand the recall and precision. So when we perform search in any information retrieval system or in any indexing system, so there sometimes so only four thing will happen. So information will be retrieved, information may not be retrieved, information may be relevant, or information may not be relevant. So the first case can be where the system has retrieved the relevant information that we are saying here as hits or showing it from A. The second one is the system is able to retrieve the information. However, it was not relevant for you. So, for instance, you searched in Google about information retrieval, but you got something else also. Like for or otherwise, suppose you search for cricket game, but you got the information about the that the animal or that some insect also some information you got. So that is not relevant for you. Another case can be not relevant, not retrieved and relevant. There may be case where um, uh, maybe certain kind of information were relevant, but system missed it. So that we are saying as misses from C. uh, then the final one we are saying as dodges. So that means not retrieved and not relevant. So that means you searched for certain information which was not relevant to you, and the system did not retrieve it. So the best possible scenario is where the relevant information is retrieved. And also this is also good that if some information is not relevant and not retrieved, you do not care, you don't have any issue. So from the above matrix we can identify or get the recall ratio. Recall ratio will be A divided by A plus C. So that means A means all the relevant documents which were retrieved divided by the sum of all the relevant documents which are retrieved plus all the relevant documents which were not retrieved. Then another one is precision ratio. So precision ratio is something which again we in numerator always it will be the relevant documents which are retrieved, and in denominator we have the documents which are relevant and retrieved, and the sum of the relevant documents which were retrieved but not relevant. So here you can see uh, missing the information and getting the noise. These are the two challenges or these are the two aspects based on which the actual evaluation is taking place. Okay, so when we talk about recall, what will be the major considering factor? That is something which is the information which is relevant but not retrieved. Whereas when we talk about the precision, the relevant precision means precision is affected by the noise, whereas the recall is something which is about missing. So when the missing numbers are less, think about just look at the formula. If the missing values or the information which was relevant and not retrieved, that means the information which was missed, if it is more, then your recall ratio will be less. If noise is more, then your precision ratio will be less. So from here you can just simply say here one thing has to be clear that the precision and recall will be having a relationship which we can say from show from this inverse curve diagram. So that means they are having inverse relationship. So if one is increasing, the other automatically decreases. Then we have some other measures like fallout, where the proportion of non-relevant items are retrieved, d by b plus d, and generality is another one where we all the hits and misses, all the relevant documents ratio with total number of items or total number of all the components. Another one is relevance. When one is searching in info, searching certain kind of information, how relevant it is. Um, so for that we also calculate the relevance, or we estimate the relevance of that particular information. Here, just simple one example was given. I think it was given in your class also. So, and many of you solved also. So that's we will go move to the further slide. Major relevant experiments related to information retrieval systems include the Cranfield test, medical literature analysis, and retrieval system, Medler's test, and text retrieval conference trick experiment. So these were the retrieval experiments which are quite popular in terms of evaluating an information retrieval system. Now we go to the next stage, that is indexing language. So for creating the index or any information retrieval system in information retrieval system, we need to have three major components like natural language. Also, we have vocabulary, we have syntax, and we have semantics. So vocabulary is nothing but the list of term which we in general we get in dictionaries and all. Uh, we have certain syntax also, like grammar of the language in the English and other languages also. We have grammar of it, and there should be certain meaning when we talk about, when we use vocabulary and syntax, then that makes sense semantics. So here one example of natural language, as here I mentioned as monkey eats banana. So it's this is the sentence which has the vocabulary, which has syntax, and it is giving some meaning also. Similar to that, when we talk about the artificial language, or when we talk about the indexing system, what we have to do is we have to um, we have to create control vocabulary. We will again have syntax, and we will have the semantics. So artificial language is, or natural language, other like natural language, artificial language also, or indexing language also have the control vocabularies or vocabulary components, syntax and semantics. So here you should understand that there are various problems with natural language when we try to translate into machine. So when we try to translate the natural language into the computer-based language, there will be certain problems, or to get the actual meaning is really challenging. Like I discussed, or I talked about different problems, like problems of homonym, problems of synonym, problem of word form, problems of gender, and so many things were are associated, which are easily understood in natural language by the individuals. However, when we talk about the computers or artificial systems, it becomes difficult to understand that, and hence we require certain kind of measures or certain kind of um, techniques which we are using here in indexing languages, to ensure that machine is also able to understand, or mechanical way also we are able to ensure the proper retrieval. So here the basic differences between natural language and artificial language is the natural languages are mostly used for the communication. The language which we are using for discussion or talking, that is natural language, but whereas the machine language will be something else. Of course, in binary or in any other form or formats. Then of course, natural language grows freely in the lips of human being, totally free from any control, whereas in natural language, we control the vocabulary. The natural language is developed for the communication of idea, whereas the indexing language is developed for representation of the thoughts. Then in natural language we will have auxiliaries, propositions, conjunctions like that. Then in indexing language we will have different kind of you can say operators or indicator digits. So here you see the major components of indexing language, which is called as control vocabulary, syntax, and semantics. So control vocabulary is something where see the literal meaning of control vocabulary is like uh, we have so many synonyms and verb forms, antonyms, and other things. So at certain extent, we have to control it. Okay, we can't use each and every term in our machine language. We have to use some other means to describe those terms. That is different thing. But we have to control. Otherwise, the entire index or entire artificial um, artificial image system will become the actual vocabulary itself. So that is the reason where we have to make the control vocabulary. So control vocabulary is verbal and coded both. So the example of verbal control vocabulary are subject heading lists and thesauri, whereas the coded one are the coded control vocabulary is classification system or classification scheme, which can be enumerated or faceted. Again, the thesaurus or thesauri has two ways we can group the concepts or terms in thesauri. It can be alphabetical or faceted. Faceted again, as example that we say as thesaurofacet or clausaurus. Now, we will see each components in detail. So control vocabulary is something which attempts to indicate the relationship between terms in index vocabulary is where it is systematically structured. So, for example, in indexing language, control vocabulary can be verbal or coded. Here you can see the example is given in colon classification schedule. Indian history is rendered as V44, and that is the example of coded one. Whereas in Sears list of subject heading, the verbal one in the verbal way, the same thing is given as India hyphen history. So other as I have told that there are other examples also. So the syntax of any and as the syntax of information system is something which we just uh, I'm taking class. So the syntax of syntax, as I told that in natural language context, it is something which we say as grammar. The similar to that, there will be certain kind of syntax for uh, certain kind of syntax for machine language also or indexing language also. So and also finally the semantics. Semantics refers to the systematic study of how machine is structured or how the meaning of terms or whatever control vocabulary terms we are taking, that is structured um, in the indexing language. So that we are saying as semantics. So some attributes of indexing language include vocabulary control, where we are limiting the scope or we are going to control the standardize or standardizing the term. Then concepts are coordinated or put together. Then multiple access, so one can access using certain syntactic rules or certain methods like cross-referencing and all. Then then some more some more attributes are there, which we say as synthetic devices. That means there are some devices will be used for ensuring that if the choice of access point is something else or different, then also the machine or the indexing system or the information retrieval system is able to retrieve the proper answer or give the proper answer. Also, there will be certain kind of relations, that is the terms, how they are related to each other, like broader term, narrower terms, or any other associative relationships are also explained in this. Then comes structural presentation. So structurally, the indexing language will be presented certain ways. Vocabulary control. So controlled vocabulary is something, as I also discussed previously, that it is list of term which shows the relationship amongst the terms by combining or provide the specific subject of a document. Then the major needs why we require controlled vocabulary is the occurrence of imprecisely defined words. So there will be words or terms which are not precisely defined. So many terminologies are changing. Numerous synonyms for a term, and then problems of homographs are also something. So the challenges of natural language which leads to develop artificial language or controlled vocabulary. So the purpose of control vocabulary is the first one is translation. That's it helps to provide a mean for converting the natural language of authors, indexers, and users into vocabulary that can be used for indexing and retrieval. It is also used for consistency. We ensure the consistency. Like for example, the term which is used one place, the same term will be used on the other places also. Of course, we can use the cross references like C or C also references. Uh, Also, it is used for the retrieval, and labeling and browsing is also are the purposes why we are developing control vocabulary. So there are two methods of two objectives of control vocabulary. The first one is to promote the consistent representation of subject matter of a document. So that means if home is being used for uh, place of staying at one place, then always it should be used. However, the other things like house, abode, or other or staying place, wherever it comes, it will be indexed like or it will be kept like C or C also references. So to achieve the first objective of indexer, one has to make the different ensure that various grammatical forms, word forms, quasi synonyms, or homographs preferred terms are most commonly used to achieve this objective. And the second one is used uh, to ensure that how relationships are developed in hierarchical form, or if it is non-hierarchical relationship, or if the relationship is something we say associative relationship. So that way how we can use C and C also references. So indexing languages here, there are different kind of indexing languages. That's classification schemes, subject heading list, thesaurus or thesaurus, thesaurus and clausaurus. We will discuss briefly about them. So classification scheme is something which is used for classification of documents or resources. So classification is defined as a mental process for grouping the entities and based on their shared characteristics or based on their degrees of likeness or dislikeness. Um, Accordingly, the notations or class numbers are given. So this is something which the example of subject classification schemes include Dewey Decimal classification or maybe colon classification. We have other classification schemes also like Library of Congress subject heading. Uh, Coming back to the next component, that is Sears list of subject heading. So Sears list of subject heading also has a different this actually keeps the terms or different concepts are listed in subject in this year's list of subject headings, and those are alphabetically arranged. The rules for the general principles are devised for this subject heading are taken from rules of dictionary catalog of CA Cutter. Then the major just a second. So here the major principles which are associated with subject heading of Sears list, the documents, the specificity is something which is the most common thing which has to be ensured in, which is ensured in Sears list of subject heading. For example, if the document is about certain subject heading, or we have to use most specific subject heading, like if it is about birds, or so if it is, if the document is about ducks, then we should not be putting it as birds or water birds. So this will be little, the scope will be broad, and we can make it specific. And if we are making it from ducks, so it will be easier for the person who is going to search or retrieve the information based on it. So so duck is something which can be which will be the preferred term, or which will ensure the specificity in this case. Common uses, the terms which are commonly used should be preferred as preferred in the subject heading. Here what I want to say with common use, it means the terminology probably which was very popular in 1500 or 1600 AD. Probably those terminologies may not be very popular now. So the terminology which are in common use has to be used. The example is library and information science domain. Initially, it started with the term knowledge economy or library economy. Later on, it becomes documentation center, or documentation studies. But right now, it is used as information management or library and information science. So that is why we have to use, when we are using the terminologies, it should be the common use has to be there. Uniformity is another aspect which is associated with the subject heading, where the terms uniformly used, or the different synonyms or different verb forms should not be included in different places. Also, the current terminology, as I told, that something probably which may not be which may be very popular 100 years ago, but now that terminology is of no use because nobody talks in that language. So that is where that also we have to ensure. Then form headings and all is about the those phrases or words represent about the literary things. These words, phrases that follow a subject heading indicated, these we have to use using dash or a certain kind of you can say indicator. Cross references is something as already I told that when you are trying to represent the synonyms or associate relationships or broader and narrower terms, that time one has to use C or C also references. Uh, subject authority file is another concept which is there in our syllabus. So subject authority file consists of the subject records, which ensures the uniformity and consistency in subject heading terminology and cross references, and the process of creating subject authority records and maintaining subject authority file, that we say as subject authority control. So we have two ways to create the subject authority control, or to see it from two perspectives or two ways. So the first one is central level, that is Library of Congress or medical subject heading. Local level, our library itself can derive its own subject authority file. As defined by ALA glossary, the subject authority file should contain subject headings, scope notes, cross references, sources or authorities on which the decision or forms of headings are based on. It also helps in indexing and maintenance of indexing and documenting of the information um, retrieval process. Uh, Another concept is about thesaurus. We have discussed about subject headings. Sears list, about the Sears list of subject heading, I would suggest you that is also in general we discussed about subject headings. Sears list of subject headings we had discussed in our class, which has the similar connotation or meaning um, uh, of subject heading. Another component which we are going to now cover is thesaurus. So thesauri or thesaurus is originated from Greek word that the literal meaning of that is as treasury or storehouse of knowledge. So the first thesaurus, which was developed by Rogers, and Peter Mark Rogers gave the idea in 1852. The plural term for thesaurus is thesauri, and this is used as a control vocabulary device in information management setup. So the term first appeared in 1776 in Oxford's English Dictionary. 1852, Peter Marks Rogers thesaurus came into the picture. Then in Thesaurus was discussed in one of the conferences in 1957. H.P. Loon gave the idea of thesaurus for information retrieval, and the first thesaurus used in information system that was developed by DuPont USA. So, as defined by UNISIS, that is United Nations International Scientific Information System, it defines thesauri based on function and structure. So, based on function, if we define thesaurus, it is a terminological control device which is used in translating from natural language of documents, indexer or users into a more constrained system language or artificial language. Whereas if we talk about, if we try to define it using its structure, the thesaurus is a controlled and dynamic vocabulary of semantically and generically related terms, which covers a specific domain of knowledge. So similar concepts of other than thesauri, we have some similar concepts that we say as dictionary. We all are aware where in the dictionaries the terms are usually alphabetically arranged and its meaning and etymologies and all are given in the dictionaries. Another one is encyclopedia, which tells in detail little in detail information about the concepts or terms, and it is highly dependent on these are dependent on um, the domain or the subject. Next is the glossary. So glossary is something which is alphabetical list, and it will have barely the description or the definition of the domain or definition of the concepts or terms. A thesaurus is something which is defined as a systematic networks of terms, and the major purpose or why we require a thesaurus is to provide a map of given field of knowledge. We using thesaurus we can use the thesaurus for developing ontologies or developing the indexes. We can also using the thesaurus we can understand the system of references between terms, that how one term is related to each other, whether it has the broader or narrower term or hierarchical relation or associated relationship or equivalence relationship among the terms. Also, it helps us to guide the users of the system so that they can choose a correct terms for subject search. Uh, In addition to that, it helps us understand that what is the hierarchy of the terms for the classification and other purposes. So the internal structure, how thesaurus looks like, it will have the descriptor, and certain scope notes will be given. Scope note is nothing but to give the context to the descriptor, we use scope note. Then certain synonyms and quasi synonyms are given, broader terms, narrower terms are given. So broader terms are something which is superordinate, which shows the superordinate relationship. For example, if we talk about you try to understand from the subjects itself, like if library and information science is the broader term, its narrower term could be digital library, or maybe library automation. Then the narrower terms, after narrower terms, there will be some related terms like library and information science. Related term can be museums, or archives, or archival sciences, or museum sciences, or museologies. Then some top terms like these comes under social sciences. So top term in this case will be social sciences. So this is the structure. uh, in a thesaurus, as I told, that one of the purposes of thesaurus is to establish the relationship, or to describe the relationship amongst the terms. So there are two major types of relationship which we come across. One is hierarchical relationship, another is non-hierarchical relationship. We will see each of them with the example. So hierarchical relationship is something where superordination or subordination takes place, where we try to explain the relationship between the terms using broader and narrower terms. Broader term is something which shows the parent term or superordinate term, whereas the narrower term is something which shows the subordinate terms, or the child of that particular parent. So as I told, that there are various relationship types in hierarchical and non-hierarchical relation also. So in hierarchical relationship, we can further subdivide into genus species relationship, like from one genus to I mean another one, or the uh, usually it happens in biology and associated sciences, where you can say the mammals. The broader term of mammals will be vertebrates, and vertebrates narrower term will be mammals. Hierarchical whole part relationship, like something will be whole and its part will also be discussed, or can be explained hierarchically. So human body is the term, its narrower term will be chest in this case. Also, picture tube and television both are those also shows the hierarchical relationship, where the picture tube is something whose broader term will be television. Then instance relationship, where we take the actual example, like mountain ranges have different, there will be so many mountain ranges. However, one of the mountain ranges is Himalayas. So the narrower term in this case will be Himalayas. Murphy is a television company. So in this case, the instance relationship will be described as Murphy broader term television. Polyhierarchical relation is something which is multiple relations can be explained of one descriptor or one concept. Like for example, well comes under mammalia also, and under marine animals also. Whereas another example is musical instruments are also can be subdivided as string instruments and wind instruments, and they are also having some they can be showed using organs. Then then comes non-hierarchical relationship. Non-hierarchical relationship can be further those are the relationship which are not explained using some hierarchy, so that we can't show from broader or narrower terms. So in that case, there will be two cases: either it will be equivalence or preferential relationship, or associative relationship. So equivalence relationship and associative relationship, we will see the examples. Equivalence relationship refers to the relationship between preferred and non-preferred terms in which each term is regarded as referring to the same concept. So equivalence relationship is explained using certain kind of devices which we say use or use for. So mostly equivalence relationship we talk in the sense of synonyms, literal synonyms. So here we see another one, that is associated relationship. One term is associated with each other. They are not in the same, probably not in the same hierarchy. They are in the same hierarchy, but not in any broader and narrower term. But they are related to each other. If terms are related to each other, so in such case, we say it is. Maybe associated relationship. For example, here you see carpet and rugs. Ships and boats are probably they are similar thing. They are, but they do not come under any hierarchy. So for that we have associated relationship. Also, relationship terms which belongs to the different categories like polling and public agents. They are related to each other, but not in any hierarchy. Clothes and weaving, harvesting and clothes, cloud and rain, Indians and India, wheat and flour, height and depth. These are related to each other, but we can't say it as um, any hierarchical relationship. So that is where it goes under associative relationship. They are not equivalence also. Okay. So these relationships which we discussed, hierarchical and non-hierarchical relations, these are can be displayed using abbreviations, symbols, or graphs. So here we can show them using the terms like BT, which we say broader term, NT, narrower term, RT, related term. SN goes for scope notes, TT is for top term, UF is for used for, or alternatively, it is used as C for. And use is another one which we use as alternatively for C. So there are different formats of thesaurus. It can be alphabetical form, systematic or classified form, graphic form. So alphabetical form where the descriptors and cross references are arranged in alphabetical order. Systematic or classified form, the descriptors are arranged in hierarchy, represented by indentions, dashes, dots, and so on. And graphically, we can show using certain arrows or graphs or semantic network also, we can use it. So when we go for compilation of the term, we first decide the scope, determine the characteristic, divide the subject into multiple facets or phases, then identify the source, collect and select the term, determine the relationship among the terms, and then we prepare the entries, arrange them into various parts like main part or auxiliary part, or finally we edit it and update it. So this is the step, you can say, for making the thesaurus. The major advantages or benefits of thesaurus is because it affects the vocabulary control in language being used in IR, and then it helps in indexer selecting preferred terms, and so on. It helps identifying or getting high recall, and also the balance between recall and precision. So if you want to evaluate the thesaurus, there can be some criteria, like for example, how specific the terms are in the thesaurus, completeness of the thesaurus, extent of how they are pre-coordinated, how word forms are derived here in thesaurus, extent of linkage, extent to synonyms. So these are the uh, major things which we include in thesaurus. Here one also thesaurus facet is another thing which we should be knowing. It is the combination of the thesaurus and faceted classification. So here actually this is an example of thesaurus only, but certain aspects of classification is also used in this. So suppose in case of thesaurus, if you want to derive certain terms, so the main class will be information science, divide into subcategories, broke down into the fundamental facets. Then it will have two component. One is the schedule and another one is the thesaurus. So after deriving the terms, then comes the rule of thesaurus, sorry, the rule of schedule, and from where you derive the fundamental facets, and those facets are subdivided, and those facets are subdivided, and further like classification schemes, its notation will also be given. um, so like you can see, this is how the in thesaurus facet, this is how the entry will be put or derived. Clasaurus is another you can say thesaurus for used for um, thesaurus used for POPSI index, and it has two part. It was derived by, of course, Ganesh Bhattacharya, and it has two part. One is systematic part, and another one is alphabetical part. Systematic part has so you understand it like it has some modifiers. Modifiers are derived from form, time, environment, and place. Then it has other than that, it has domain or discipline, then entities, uh, properties, and access. So in short, we say DEPAM. That is, D stands for discipline, E stands for entities, P stands for properties, A stands for actions, and M stands for modifiers. So there will be two kinds of modifiers: common modifiers and inter-subject relation modifiers. So this is the first part, that is a systematic part, whereas another part is the alphabetical part, alphabetical index part, where the terms will be listed like thesaurus, where the synonyms and quasi synonyms and other aspects are listed. So another subject heading is Library of Congress subject heading. So this I will just briefly touch upon. Library of Congress subject heading. If you search on Google, you will find its subject heading is openly available. It has different types of divisions and subdivisions, which you can see based on the topics, which we say topical subdivision, chronology, like for the domains, form subdivision, like used basically in arts and humanities, then geographical subdivisions and all. So these are the this is how they are structured. So the entry structure is, it will have heading, class number, scope note, and reference structure. So class number, they will use Library of Congress subject heading. So when you are filing, or how the filing order takes place in this case is here alphabetically the terms are arranged, and numbers are given in digits, Arabic and Roman, initials separated by certain punctuations and abbreviations, and are um, acronyms and initials without interior punctuation file as single word file. This is how the terms will be listed here. Children, like children attitudes, or several aspects which are associated with children are given together in this case. So the major advantage is, it is Library of Congress. The major difference between Library of Congress subject heading and Sears list of subject heading is, Library of Congress subject heading is for the major domains, or if you can say its scope is very broad, whereas the Sears list of subject heading, the scope is little narrower. And for the special libraries, particularly, or the libraries where the scope is limited, that time one can use Sears list of subject heading, whereas the in case of broader scope or bigger library and information centers, Library and of Congress subject headings are used. Now coming back to the another concept, that's a different kind of library, different indexing techniques. in our syllabus we have keyword indexing, of course pre-coordinate and post-coordinate indexing systems. So here we will be discussing POPSI, keyword indexing, and a bit about UNITO. So kind there are two ways we can divide the indexing techniques: derived and assigned. So derived one is something which is where indexer's own knowledge is not required. So you just take it from whatever title is given as it is, from the title itself you create the index, whereas title or maybe abstract or any other component, you can take up that particular resource, and from there you derive the indexing. Whereas there another classification can be assigned indexing, where the actual indexes are assigned, and certain things are added or removed from the title or from the other aspect of information retrieval system. Another division can be of pre-coordinate indexing system and post-coordinate indexing. So in pre-coordinate indexing, concepts are coordinated at input stage, that is at the time of indexing itself, whereas in the post-coordinate indexing, indexes are coordinated at the output stage or at the time of search. So the example of pre-coordinate indexing can be chain indexing or PRECI or WOPSI, whereas in post-coordinate indexing, we have uniterm indexing or computerized indexing. Search engine indexes are also performed at the time of search. Also, we can uh, divide the indexing based on the its manual or automated nature. So manual indexing is something where the work of indexing, query analysis, matching, and other works are done manually, whereas in automated these works are done by the indexing system or computer system. Manual indexing, the major steps include analysis of the subject, identification of keywords, uh, standardization of keyword, choice of indexing, which we have already discussed. These steps are quite similar in both machine and manual index, whereas since human intellect is directly involved in um, um, manual index, it has certain advantages and disadvantages. Same is the case with machine index as well. Now, the major shortcomings or issues with manual indexes is you have to the time and effort is the major challenge, and also uh, there can be inconsistency if human beings are there, because machines always they will be consistent. Even if they are making mistakes, they will be consistently making mistake, whereas this may not be the case with human beings. Some places you may put wrongly. For example, just a simple example where your marks are entered, there is a chance that if human being are doing, they may miss certain numbers, but that usually doesn't happen in case of machine. Then automated indexing, it's what happens in this is first of all, the problems relate to that there are frequency analysis is the major thing which we do in this case. So the first of all, the domain will be analyzed, and the frequency of word occurrence in sorry, the frequency of word occurrences in an article furnishes a useful measure of word significance. So this is something which is according to HP Loon. Since I have shared this, I think you can simply read it. It is just about the process which was given by um, HP Loon. Uh, but I just want to tell you in general how what are the steps which we use. So first of all, choosing all the words in a document. So all words will be chosen. Then eliminating common function words by consulting stop word list. So common function words like is, am, are, or auxiliaries, or maybe conjunctions and related things will be removed. Uh, Then computing the frequency of occurrence of all words in each document. The frequency will be computed, that how many times a term is occurring. Then assigning the most frequently occurring terms as index terms. So the terms which are occurring more will be put as index terms. So this is the step which we follow in artificial indexing process. Then then coming to the indexing technique, which we say as keyword indexing. Just a sec. A keyword index is uh, keyword index was given by HP Loon first, and he's considered as the person who gave first time any kind of computer based indexing system or automated indexing system. So here the terms are used, the key terms are used for developing or creating the index. So how keyword will be selected? Keyword are selected from the title or title like phrases, either by editor or indexer. Then by computer with the help of stop list, some words will be excluded. Usually initial articles, prepositions and other things will be removed. Then the keywords, the selected serve as approach terms. So the terms which has more frequency will be chosen as index terms. For example, this is the title called treatment of heart disease in India. If we want to make a keyword index using KWIC, that is quick or keyword index, how will we uh, define the key terms in this case? Treatment, heart disease, and India. These are the keywords which are derived from it. Off and in is removed from here, from the title. When generating the um, when you want to generate the entry in this, now index entries are generated with each keyword. Then the title is manipulated, that the keyword comes in the beginning and followed by the rest of the title. And thus let us see with the example. So here three things are there. One is keyword, another one is context, and next one is references or identification. So the actual keyword, it's a context which will be shown using slash, and finally the references will be identified. Here you can see this is how the entry will be generated. The title was treatment of heart disease in India. So first treatment is coming of heart disease in India. Next, heart disease in India slash. Slash is the something which is giving the context. And here you can see 11. 11 probably maybe any unique number of the resource or document, or you can say if it is a book, this is the accession number of that particular library. Then treatment of, and to give the context, each one of them, each of the preferred terms are coming in front. That is treatment came first, then the next preferred term was heart. So from heart disease in India up to this, we are taking it and putting a slash. Then treatment of is mentioned. Then disease in India uh, is since disease is another preferred term. Then India is the next term which we have used as a um, entry. Then we can put these terms in middle also. Nothing is changing other than putting the preferred terms in the middle. Then the major advantage of Quick is it doesn't require much intellect, and one can easily make it, derive it. However, when it comes to the large number of index entries, such as under a given keyword, in that case it will be difficult to search and all. References and all are not grouped together, and there are several disadvantages also. However, we can say that being the first indexing system which was derived automated using automated means, this was something uh, which paved the path of many other indexing systems. So some other keyword based indexing systems include KWOC, that is keyword out of context index, keyword augmented in context, keyword with context, keyword key term alphabetical WEDEX word and author index, click key later in context indexes. So the KWAC in this, what we do is we put the terms, preferred terms differently, and entire context is given along with each preferred term in KWAC. Quack is something where the dependency, um, it was identified that we were highly dependent on the title. So here in this case of Quack, the keywords are enriched with some additional words are also included in the keyword. Like for example, if it is heart disease in India is the term heart disease in India, some other keywords may be added to it, like maybe which is associated with human body or geographical location, or maybe disease. So these things can be, or cure can be added. So Quack is another keyword indexing which was to improve quick and quack. Another one is within the context, only the part of title instead of full title relevant to the keyword is considered as KWWC. So in this, we reduce the scope. Key term alphabetical is like something where the terminologies will be put after making the entry, the terminologies will be put alphabetically. WEDEX is something where not only the word or key term, author's name will also be made or put as a keyword for the searching and retrieval purpose. Another one is click, that where the fragmented words or key letters instead of full words, either at beginning or end of the entry, we add. So here, this is something which in search also we perform. When we perform search also, we use certain terms like asterisks, or maybe question marks. So the similar thing was initially done in click index, which we are doing nowadays in truncation, or maybe wildcard searches, mostly truncation. Now coming back to the pre-coordinate indexing. So pre-coordinate indexing basically, um, all kind of index where whatever kind of index it is coordinated only, either it will be pre-coordinate or post-coordinate. So pre-coordinate indexing are that involves coordinating. So coordinating in the sense combining, pulling together the concepts, followed by engaging in act of synthesis to build the index entries. So some of the example of pre-coordinate indexing include cutter subject indexing, subject systematic indexing, chain indexing, Tracy and Popsy. Since this is something which is not um, part of M108, rather it is part of some other course. So we can skip chain indexing. Then Tracy is something which was derived by Derek Austin, and after experiments and trials in British National Bibliography, uh, it was introduced in 1974. Up to precise introduction, the chain index was used by British National Bibliography as an indexing system. So coming back to the actual objectives, that so the purpose or objective of the PRECY was that the computer should produce the index entries, not the human beings. Entry should be expressive, and then the system should be based on single set or logical rules. Terms can be admitted into index at any time, so that the option of inclusion of terms should be there. So that means the vocabularies will be open-ended. Some features of Prezi includes it is more amenable to automatic manipulation than the indexing based on the notational classification, because prior to this the indexing systems were used using classification scheme mostly when we talk about chain indexing, it is highly dependent on classification scheme. Then Prezi is something which can be adopted by other languages, and indexers determine the meaning of the term, code, and roles identifies the lead terms, whereas the computer takes care of the permutation. So some things will be managed by the human being, that is meaning of the terms, codes, and roles are identified by the individuals or the people, whereas the computer take care of different permutations and combinations. Uh, Also, this is completely independent of classification number, which was not the case with previous indexing systems like chain indexing. And also in this context is dependent. Sorry, so the context is ensured and preserved. So there are two major principles of Prezi. So the first one is principle of context dependency, where the context is ensured and each term's meaning in string depends upon the preceding terms, or that is how they have preserved the context, or unless we preserve the context, the meaning or the results will be different. Then the principle of one-to-one relationship, when the terms here in this case each other terms are connected with certain kind of strings, and each related terms are made put into certain structure. So the syntax of Prezi is based on two things. One is role operator and there was one is code. So then role operators are consist of set of alphanumerical notations, which specifies the grammatical role or the function of index terms. So I would show you different role operators. It is listed. Then there are primary and secondary role operators, and also typographical source. Here you can see primary operators and secondary operators, and its role operators are mentioned, like whenever it comes to location, it will be given from 0, key systems as 1, actions as 2, performer of transitive action is 3, extra core concepts are showed from 4, 5, 6. Then coordinating the concepts F and G is used. Dependent elements are FQ and R. So these are the different role operators. Then comes role operators, and then comes the codes. So different codes are also listed here, primary, secondary, or typographical codes, which are showed using dollars, $x, $y, x, z, $a, and other alphabetical, also from $0, $1, $2. So this is the syntax, how the codes and the role operators are listed. So in when you are preparing, when one is preparing the entry in Prezi, there will be lead term, some qualifier term, and how it will be displayed. So the lead term is something which is said to be as the approach term. Qualifier term is the term which qualifies. So it's a kind of, it gives the context, and the display is something how the heading has to be displayed. There are different formats also. So in this you can see with one example, standard, in a standard format. There are other formats also like inverted format, but we'll go by standard format as of now. So title, if suppose the title is University Libraries in Karnataka, it will be analyzed as measurement of the performance of university libraries in Karnataka. When preparing the input string, we can see that certain role operators will be used. Role operator 2 will be used because it is about the measurement, and measurement. If you go um, to the previous slides here. 2 is something related to action or effect. So from where the role operators are taken as 2. Then next one is the codes are defined. So here it is coded by code 1 as performance. Then finally, different concepts are identified from the actual title, that is universities, libraries, performance, and measurement, and each one of them are given the appropriate codes. And finally, since as I told that location is given by 0 and 1 is another role operator, then PP, and then 2 is given as another operator. So this once these operators are given, or then comes the next one, that is generation of entries. So here we have generated the entries as Karnataka, and each terms are the context is given along with the Karnataka, similar to what we were doing in KWAC index. Each terms which we preferred, like Karnataka, universities, libraries, performance, and measurement, everything in different color we are giving as preferred terms. Along with that, the context is given using the bifurcation from the dot. So now after this, there were other formats also, other ways also you can insert the entries or put the entries, like inverted format and all also, which I just skipped because the standard format is the most popular one, and is was being used. Then POPSI is something which was derived by this is another post coordinate indexing system, and POPSI is considered the full name of POPSI is postulate based permuted subject indexing system, was given by Ganesh Bhattacharya. It is the actually some concepts of this indexing system include the deep structure of subject indexing language. Here uh, there we had certain role operators we were given in notations. Here we are dividing the entire domain of knowledge using discipline, entity, action, property, and modifier. It is similar to what Rangnathan has given as PMEST, where P stands for personality, matter, energy, and space and
So,
time. Similar to that, we have in this case in POPSI, we have discipline, entity, action, um, property, and modifiers. Again, as I told, as I discussed when I was talking about the Clasaurus, there we had there we were talking about there we talked about these five previously also. So uh, how will you define which particular component or concept will lie where? Like discipline is something which refers to the elementary category, and example of discipline can be mathematics, economics, and so on. And then entity can be a light, plant, animals, places, time. Action can be any work or function or activity will go under action. Then comes property. Property is something like effect or power or efficiency, utility or form. Modifiers include some of the aspects which cannot be derived or cannot be used from using DEP we are using at M. So there are two types of modifiers: common modifiers, like for example, space or time or environment. These are defined using common modifiers. Special modifiers are the modifiers which are um, uh, maybe discipline based or entity based or property based or action based. So like for example, those that are not required auxiliary words or phrases to be inserted in between the terms, but automatically form a acceptable compound term denoting species. For example, chemical in chemical treatment. It will by default give a certain kind of meaning. So some modifiers are to modify the discipline, entity, or property or actions, we use special modifiers. We'll see with the example how we uh, uh, do it. Just these are some of the features where we first analyze, synthesize, and then create the different permutation. Here's the difference between POPC and the PRECI is here the analysis and synthesis was taking place there also. The concepts were coordinated in both the cases. If you talk about PRECI and POPC, the difference is here the concepts or terms are divided or coordinated based on certain facets like discipline, entity, um, action, and then then what was that? P stands for property and M stands for modifier. So based on that, whereas in case of PRECI, we had role operators and codes. So the another additional difference between POPC and PRECI is the permutations takes place by the machine. That's what was the plan of we say Derek Astin, whereas in this case, it is not like that. So here also certain numbers or notations are listed here, which are useful for one who is using POPC table. As I told that Clausaurus is something which is controlled vocabulary, which will be used for defining uh, uh, when deriving the entries in POPC. So here the semantic relationship or relationship amongst the term was defined using Clausaurus. Clausaurus consists of different schedules for each elementary categories and modifiers, and Clausaurus has do not have the related terms like other thesaurus. So here what you have to do is the syntax will be first discipline will come and then entity, which will be followed by property, then action. Property and action may be further followed by the common modifiers. So here you say step 0 as title. So here if the title is use of microcomputers for measuring the obsolescence of legal databases in government libraries in India. So here the content analysis will take place where the domain, the entity, the property, the action, everything will be the modifiers, all that will be defined here. Then formalization will take place like this with comma. Each steps will be divided or bifurcated. Then as you can see, D comes first, then E, then P, and other things comes along with it. Then further um, you have to modulate each component terms in the and analyze subject proposition by enhancing it with the successively interpolating or some other terms will be interpolated into it if required. Then terms will be standardized using Clausaurus. Then categories will be mentioned here. Categories will be mentioned from the previous slide we had discussed. We shared one document which has the numbers or notation something was written. From there we are taking these numbers like 6, 6.2, 6.3 and other aspects. Finally, these are the preferred terms, approach terms, which we decided. And this is how the final entry will be put, and alphabetically all the entries will be kept. So this is about the POPC. Further, we have an post coordinate indexing system. The example for post coordinate indexing system can be uniterm or even computer based indexing. Uniterm indexes are this was derived by Moreton Taube in 1953, and indexing process is like you provide different identification numbers for different terms. Like 523 is for management of libraries, and 718 is libraries and societies. So uh, these numbers are given. Uh, what you can do is you have to make entry in certain card like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and these things, these numbers, the terminal digit will be decided based on the last digit of the term, like 3 here, 3 will be kept with this 8. You can see last digit will be decided based on these terminal numbers. This we have discussed in the class in very detail, so I am skipping a bit. Then searching process is like, first of all, the subject will be analyzed, and after analyzing the key terms, we have to understand that which particular key term is being listed with which particular number and all, and then a relevant document will be identified. For example, in card shows earlier, document number 523 appears in first two cards, and so it contains the two concepts, management and library. So each terms are associated with certain numbers, and the actual indexing is taking place at the time of searching, uh, based on the keywords and key terms. So computerized indexing is something. So search engine, just little bit we will talk about search engines before that. So search engine is um, as we all know that we go to the browsers and search different components, and each browser is associated with some or other search engine. For instance, Google Chrome has a default search engine Google. So if you go and search certain term in the Google Chrome, it sends the query to Google. Google will have certain spiders, we say, or we say crawlers, and those crawlers or spiders will go to different resources or different sources of web, and get the information from there. And after getting the information from there, it starts creating the index. And once the index is created, um, the results will be fetched from the Google, and based on the location, the results will be fetched and displayed on your computer system. So this is how it takes place. These search engines, they search the results. So here, some methods which may not be relevant as of now. Another component is semantic web. Semantic web, here I would like to discuss a bit about the syntactic web, which is like you go and search in the in your browser, and you get the list of documents. Whereas the ultimate goal of semantic web is that when you search for the resource, search for the queries, the result should be actual results, or actual information which you are looking for, not the list of documents. So with that, Tim Berners-Lee, he actually derived the term semantic web. And you can see here, we had discussed in our class also in very detail about the different semantic web, data mining, and other related stuff. So here, semantic web layers has various technologies which is required for developing a semantic web. So first of all, we require identifiers, character sets, different syntax in the form of XML, data interchange, taxonomies or ontologies. rules, querying using Sparkle, cryptography along with that, so that the security and privacy is ensured, unifying the logic, proof, trust, and other proof and trust. So these are the this is the semantic web layer based on which entire semantic web works. So now we will just move to the next component, that is bibliographic description and metadata. So we understand about metadata that that is nothing but data about data, or we metadata is something which is which we use for resource description. So so resource description is something, if we say in our terms, or in the terms of library and information science, resources are there in terms of books, or in terms of journals, or in terms of other records. So these, how to describe them? Okay, so there were different means and ways were given across the uh, uh, with the time, a lot of such uh, just a minute. A lot of such methods, or um, a lot of ways were created for deriving the metadata, or deriving the resource description, and that is where in recent era what we do is we use uh, different techniques, or systems to describe each and every resources. For example, to describe the books, or to describe the um, journals or other bibliographic resources, we have different methods like uh, metadata we use, and then metadata, there are different metadata standards. For instance, uh, we have uh, Dublin core, that is the first one, which has 15 elements. Along with that, we have other elements, or other metadata schema. For instance, um, um, or even mark is used for that purposes, and then then comes uh, VRA core, or premise for preservation context, or for the videos and audios. We have VRA core, and other metadata or data schema we are having. Uh, Before going to that, we will just I mean, just talking about metadata is like describing any resource is really important, because unless you describe it, you will not be optimally able to retrieve it. So that is where the description is required. So for describing a book, probably the required elements would be the title, the author, the the unique numbers like ISBN, and so many other things which are there in Dublin core, and other metadata schema. So I would suggest you to read about Dublin core, and mark for your examination in detail. We have already talked or discussed in our classroom about these things. So if you have the slides, that will also work for you. In between, we have another component which we have to cover is search techniques and advances of information. So man and machine retrieval we have already discussed. So what basically search is, it is a nothing but a process of locating information from a large data set. So that is where we perform the search over the internet. We use search engines, or directories, or databases, or different forums for searching. So a search engine is something which we say as that searches for information over the internet. It returns the list of relevant results in form of web pages, images, videos, and so on. Some examples include Google, Bing, Yahoo, and DuckDuckGo. So search engines, they actually work like in following ways. First of all, the crawling happens where each and every search engine has bots which scan through the query and go to the web pages and collect data. Indexing takes place afterwards, where data is organized and stored for quick retrieval. Then comes the ranking, where the certain algorithms are used for the ranking purposes. So Google has its own page rank, and other search engines also have similarly. Then query processing, where the search engine interpret user intent, and finally the results are displayed. So these are the popular search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, and Baidu's. Then another important concept is meta search engine. So meta search engines, what they do is they actually combine the results from various search engines and give the results. So the example of meta search engines include Dogpile, Startpage, Yippee, Font, or Metacrawler. These are the meta search engines which help us performing our various activities. Um, then we have various scholarly databases from where we search or perform the retrieval, like bibliographic databases such as Scopus, Web of Science, and others. Open access repositories such as Archive, SSRN, Oyster, or DOAJ. We have catalogs or union catalogs like WorldCats or maybe IndCat. Uh, Library of Congress catalog, OAC's OPAC system. Reference sources are there like encyclopedia, credo references, statista, and so on. For news and media also we have various sources. So these are the sources from where search and retrieval takes place, and how we search and retrieve using the if they have their own search mechanism, like Scopus has their own discovery mechanism, so you can search from there itself, whereas many things you can search using the you know so using search engines. Now coming to the some advanced topics which are there in your syllabus. So the first one is data mining. Data mining is something it's a technique which is used for finding the patterns in the large data sets. So suppose you want to so one example here given as online stores suggesting related products, like for example if you have gone to certain online store, and you start getting messages from them based on your behavior, or based on your pattern of visiting in that particular store. So that they use data mining techniques. So for data mining, the major tools or techniques they use is classification, clustering, association rules, and regression. So the advantage is like due to AI, lot of we can use the pattern of users pattern and easily suggest or we can create the recommender system using data mining techniques for the users. We have various data mining tools. Some of the approaches I told, like classification, clustering, association rules, and regression. Other than that, there are tools like we have different programming languages like Python and Excel, Vector, and all, which we can use for uh, data mining. Uh, Another concept which we have in our syllabus is data harvesting. So the basics of data harvesting is something from getting data from or getting data or information from already existing databases or already existing repositories. Uh, we have uh, we have already known about the protocol called OAI-PMH. Some tools include some tools which are quite often used for the harvesting purposes include DSpace, Greenstone, Open Harvester System, and other system. We have also, in advanced topics, we have semantic web, which actually makes the current web readable by machine or understandable by the machine and give the result, actual result which we are asking for, not the simple web of documents or list of documents. So that is the purpose of semantic web. So these advanced topics actually they help. They are there in our syllabus. Along with that, uh, in future we are expecting that we in a library and information science domain we have to study and understand some components, for instance like large language model based, or of course NLP and related things we are studying for quite long. But very recently large language based models or AI based systems have come into the picture. So along with the search engines and other related stuff, we have to study about them also. And uh, these are going to be the opportunity as well as challenge for the library and information science professional. So with this, we finish today's revision class. If you have any question or if you need any clarification, you can ask. Any question or clarification? Yes, no?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, then all the best for your exams, which is going to start in the mid of May. Uh, so your other revision classes, I think this is the first revision class. Other revision classes will be today onwards itself. Okay, then have a nice day and best wishes for your exams.
सर इंटरनल कब से हो सकते हैं?
Internals are expected to start in the first week of May.
ओके सर.